everybody ready to start? All right. Even though it's already been put out, I'm going to start just by reading the statement from earlier because I think it covers the key points, and I'll be happy to answer every question that you might have, and we'll stay here till that's all done. After deliberative thought and evaluation, including multiple meetings with Tom about the future, I've decided to make a change in the leadership of our men's basketball program. Tom Crean brought us through one of the most challenging periods in IU history, led his players to many successes on and off the court, including particularly in the classroom, and represented our university with class and integrity. While winning 2 outright Big Ten titles in 5 years and being named the Big Ten Coach of the Year just last year, Tom worked tirelessly to develop great young men and successful teams. However, ultimately, we seek more consistent, high levels of success, and we will not shy away from our expectations. Tom is a good man and a good coach, and we owe him a great deal of gratitude for his many positive contributions to Indiana basketball, and we all wish him well. The national search for our new coach begins immediately. The Board of Trustees and the President have expressly delegated to me the responsibility and authority for this search and hire. While I will not be establishing a formal search committee or advisory committees, I will consult with basketball experts from around the country and throughout the state of Indiana, including many former Indiana University basketball players, state coaches, and so forth. The expectations for Indiana University basketball are to perennially contend and win multiple Big Ten championships, regularly go deep into the NCAA tournament, and win our next national championship and more after that. We will identify and recruit a coach who will help us meet these expectations. With that, I'd be happy to take all of your questions.
I guess Fred,
as you look at what you want, what are the key things you want in the next coach? What are, maybe 3-4 things that the next guy really has to do and has to do well?
Well, first, Jeff, I think it starts with the gives. So our number one priority is to play by the rules. We don't want anybody who's been associated with significant NCAA infractions. We want somebody who cares about the wellness of the kids in mind, body, and spirit. Therefore, we don't want anyone who is shown a proclivity to be, abusive or have any of those situations. Academics are important, hopefully everywhere, but here, particularly in Indiana, we expect kids to go to class and graduate, and so no one with significant academic issues. And then some of it fits the culture, if you will, can buy into our values and priorities. But those are sort of the givens. That's sort of the ante to get in the game. We want somebody who can win Big Ten and national championships. We want somebody who's a proven winner, somebody who's a proven recruiter, who has the ability and the desire to recruit in the Midwest and especially in Indiana. Someone who's a good tactician in the games, a developer of talent. And this is a elusive phrase, I suppose, but someone who's a leader of men, someone who the kids trust, has their best interest at heart, and that the kids understand they can make them better. So those are the things I'm looking for in the next coach in Indiana.
Fred, Indiana hasn't won a national title in 30 years, and you talk about winning a national championship and then the next one, multiple Big Ten championships. What makes you think this program can erase the last 3 decades and become a perennial national title contender?
Well, I think this is one of the best jobs in college basketball, and I think through a variety of situations, we haven't been there since 1987, and I think sometimes those of us who are so close to it in Indiana don't step back and recognize what an extraordinary job this is. So start out with the tradition and values of the team. Those are obvious. We see the 5 banners all the time. I think that puts us in the top 5 nationally, but in most all the other categories, we're in the top 5 or 10. Tourney appearances, tourney wins, Sweet 16 appearances, college players of the year, Big Ten players of the year, Big Ten, all Big Ten teams. We are still in the top 5 or 10 in all those categories. The rabid fan base that has more people come to a practice at Hoosier Hysteria than most teams average in a season. The recruiting base here in Indiana, we're only the 17th most popular state in the country, but we've produced the 4th most NBA players in the country. Plus the resources we're willing to put in, we have dramatically increased the resources that we've committed to men's basketball over the last 9 years to where I think we have one of the most robust budgets in the country. It's first class all the way. Cook Hall, the renovated Simon Scott Assembly Hall, the 7,800 student section, which is the largest in the country, with 11,000 kids trying to buy those 7,800 tickets. A fantastic university with academics that hold up to almost really anyone else. So, and the commitment from the department to continue to make those resources available. So I think it's a fantastic job. I expect there to be great interest in it, and look forward to starting that process very soon.
So, and those are all great points, but at what point do 3 decades of results not match that kind of optimism you just showed? At a certain point, your job is what you've done. You are what your record says you are. At what point do you have to maybe accept the reality that Indiana isn't an elite job?
Yeah, I don't accept that. I think somebody suggested that if I fired Tom Crean, I ought to come out in a members only jacket because it would be 1970 or 1980. And even though that's my era, I didn't have a members only jacket, so I wasn't able to wear that. But I just I understand that. In some ways, I think that's the beauty of the opportunity, that the next coach can put his mark on a program that, as you point out, hasn't had the success that we expect, generally in that time frame. But we have all the resources to get there, and I think looking forward could be a powerhouse to be reckoned with the right leadership because of all those attributes we have, including resources that everybody knows about the banners, everybody knows about the candy striped pants, everybody knows about the names are on the front of the jersey, not on the back. But I think I look forward to sitting across the table from coaches and saying, here's what your assistant coach pool budget is. Here's how we travel. Here's our commitment to recruiting and so forth. And that's why I'm confident that we'll get the attention of some first-class folks.
So do you think it's fair to say, Fred, that this opening right now and the search you're about to lead is a litmus test for how good this job is? I mean, ultimately, the caliber of candidate you attract is going to speak to that.
Well, I'm confident that we'll get the coach we want to meet our expectations. I'm not sure Bobby Knight won the press conference when he was 31 years old, coming from Army. So we're not going to. Our goal is not going to be to win the press conference. Our goal is going to be to get the person we think can meet the very clear expectations that we've set out, building on the resources and natural attributes that we have here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fred, how much did this season play a factor in your decision, or is it more cumulative over the last several years?
It was really the latter, Dave. I'm always somewhat amused or bemused, I suppose, when people say, well, this guy's coaching for his job in this tournament or in this game or in this run, because that just seems inherently silly to me. And yeah, this was a disappointing year, but the year before was a really strong year. So this year, in my view, wasn't a disproportionate part of my evaluation, but a part of the whole time that Tom's been here.
Brett, I know you said that this was, an accumulative decision and it didn't have to do with this season, but could you feel maybe the frustration from fans this season?